Who told you respect must be earned through friendship? Respect is a currency minted by strategy, not by smiles. Sun Tzu taught that victory is won before battle. Machiavelli taught that power is managed in appearance and consequence. Combine strategy with theater, and you stop needing to be liked. You become inevitable. Promise. Learn 5 concrete laws, exact phrasing, and daily rituals that make people bend to your terms, even when they do not love you. Respect is earned in the first glance, long before a word is spoken. It is the silent contract the world signs before it even meets your voice. Sun Tzu said, "Appear at points where you are not expected, and strike where the enemy is unprepared." Not war, not yet, but life itself obeys this principle. Presence is power. Timing is authority. You must learn to wield both before they have a chance to like you. The first thing to understand is simple. People do not respect kindness. They respect signals. They read micro-movements like scripture, interpreting every tilt of your head, every pause before a reply, every deliberate action as evidence of value. A man can smile and nod endlessly. He can laugh at the right joke. And yet, if he falters in posture, if he hesitates in timing, he is forgotten, or worse, disrespected. Your body, your voice, your silence must all speak with the language of command. The theater of presence, imagine a crowded room. Eyes flick to you, not because you ask for attention, but because you do not. A subtle shift in weight, a single step into a clearing, and the room changes. People orient to you. This is the theater of presence. It is not charm. Charm is optional, often fleeting. Presence is compulsory. It forces an involuntary reaction. Machiavelli wrote of princes and the perception of virtue. It is better to be feared than loved. If you cannot be both, respect exists in that space between fear and admiration. Start small. Sit slightly taller. Speak slightly slower. Answer slightly later than expected. These are not tricks, they are principles of rhythm and perception. Humans respond to patterns of control. You are no longer part of the mob. You are the axis. The crowd feels it before they can articulate it. Timing as authority, every moment is a battlefield. The first to act may be the first to expose weakness. The first to react without thought is a step behind. Authority is the art of selective timing. Delay responses. Choose the moment your presence is most noticed. A pause before a nod, a slight hesitation in speech, it signals weight. It signals thought. It signals power. Jung observed the shadow within, the inner servant who demands approval, who begs to be liked. This is the antagonist in your mind. It whispers, say yes, please them, avoid conflict, crush it. Let your mind dictate action, not the fear of dislike. Each delayed response, each silent observation, is a strike against this inner servant. The world will sense it before you do. They will start to adjust. They will start to respect. Micro-signals that command respect posture stand like a column, unmoved by chatter. The body speaks first. Voice deep, steady, even when casual. Do not rush. Do not apologize for volume. Eye contact. Do not dart. Do not linger unnecessarily. Measure it like a chess move. Response timing. Reply with precision. Not haste, not delay for show. Calculated presence is authority. These are not habits, they are declarations. They tell the room, I am a node around which things pivot. Notice you do not seek approval. You claim space. Ritual of arrival. Make every entrance a ceremony. Not flamboyance, not exaggeration, precision. Note the light, the obstacles, the social currents. Step into the rhythm of the room. Move like you own, not just the space, but the expectation. Every head turned is an unconscious contract. Respect before liking. This is subtle terror and silent theater combined. Consider the historical precedent. Napoleon at Austerlitz did not inspire mere affection. He commanded orientation. Soldiers and generals alike read his slightest gesture as decisive. They followed him because the pattern of command preceded personal admiration. This is what you replicate in daily life, without armies, without the spectacle, through small, controlled rituals. Micro-action to begin today, tonight. Select one habit, posture, tone, or response timing. Enforce it like a rule. Observe how interactions shift. Keep a mental tally of moments when people lean in or defer. Small experiments yield large results. Each controlled behavior is a pebble dropped into a still pond. Ripples reach farther than you imagine. The antagonist, society's expectation society, whispers, "Be liked first, then you will be respected." This is a lie designed to make the ambitious, timid, inverted. Force, respect, and liking becomes a side effect. If it never arrives, it no longer matters. You have won the first battle. The world orients to you not because it loves you, but because it has no choice. Imagery for mind. Visualize a dimly lit hall. Figures milling aimlessly, their movements chaotic. Then one steps forwards, still, silent, deliberate. Their gaze shifts, conversation halts. Time bends to their measure. That is the effect of calculated presence. That is the architecture of respect. Closing command, make them respect you first. The rest will bend in time. Let the inner servant shrink. Let the crowd hesitate. Let presence speak where words fail. Authority is a shadow cast before action. It whispers before you speak, moves before you move, bends currents without friction. Sun Tzu said, "Supreme excellence consists in breaking the enemy's resistance without fighting." Here lies the essence. To command, you need not engage in battle. Respect once seized must be reinforced without confrontation. Conflict dilutes power. Subtlety preserves it. The first mistake men make is believing that dominance requires aggression. They raise voices. They impose physically. They argue endlessly, hoping to overwhelm. But true authority is silent, precise, and impenetrable. Machiavelli taught, "Men judge generally by appearances. It is essential that a prince seem merciful, faithful, humane, upright. Appearance is the lens. Substance is the weapon. You will appear commanding even as you manipulate circumstances from the shadow." The art of silent influence. Picture a room where two factions argue, tension rising. You enter, posture perfect, gaze unwavering. You do not intervene immediately. You observe, you measure. You allow chaos to expose weakness. Then, a word, a pause, a gesture. The tide shifts subtly, almost imperceptibly. Others realign. No blow was struck, no anger raised, yet your influence is absolute. This is command without conflict. It is the mastery of timing, perception, and psychological leverage. Each human mind is a battlefield. Each social interaction, a skirmish. The moment you assert calm where others react emotionally, you become the gravity around which all decisions pivot. Micro rules of non-conflict command. Strategic silence. Speak only when your words tip the balance. Otherwise, observe. Controlled reaction. Respond. Never react. Let impulses pass through a filter of intent. Subtle gestures, a tilt of the head, a measured smile, a step closer or away. These are signals of dominance without violence. Jung's shadow lurks here. Tooth the fear of being overlooked, of being dismissed. This inner voice urges you to shout, to force recognition. Silence. Let the crowd recognize your weight by their own measurements. Allow their missteps to elevate your presence. This is the psychology of unseen power. Influence extracted without friction. The ritual of influence when entering any group or room. Scan the landscape. Identify leaders, weak points, and emotional currents. Do not confront. Do not correct. Instead, guide subtly. Introduce ideas indirectly. Position yourself strategically and allow others to believe the solution was theirs. Machiavelli would call this cunning. Sun Tzu, effortless strategy. Both converge on the same principle. The less apparent your hand, the stronger your command. Visualize a chessboard. Every pawn, knight, and bishop represents a human in your orbit. The game is not in moving first. It is in creating positions where your influence is inevitable. Others' moves become predictable, irrelevant, or advantageous. This is the architecture of respect, maintained without confrontation. Microaction. To begin today, choose a social or professional interaction in the next 24 hours. Observe before speaking. Identify emotional patterns and decision makers. Insert a single, subtle gesture, calm, nod, a deliberate pause, or a repositioning in space that shifts attention or deflects tension. Track reactions. This is practice in invisible command. Antagonist. The emotional current. The greatest threat to silent authority is emotional reaction or own and others. Anger, fear, envy, desire for approval. All are weapons turned against you if uncontrolled. Your task is to remain unmoved, an anchor in turbulent waters. Let others' tempests swirl. Your calm is a signal, a magnet, a subtle assertion of dominance. Imagery for mind. Imagine a candle in a storm. The wind rages, shadows flicker, branches crash. The candle stands unbowed, flame steady. All eyes drift to it instinctively. That is how command without conflict manifests. Calm in chaos, presence impervious, influence unavoidable. Closing command. Do not fight to be obeyed. Let obedience emerge as a consequence of perception. Your calm is your weapon. Your timing is your strike, and your silence. Your silence is the echo that carries farther than any shout. Power often resides not in what is seen, but in what is felt. The strongest leaders, the most feared men, often move through rooms unnoticed. Yet every interaction bends toward their will. Sun Tzu wrote, "He will win who knows when to fight and when not to fight." Here, the battlefield is subtle, hidden in glances, gestures, and unspoken hierarchies. To dominate invisibly is to exist as a force, not a figure. The principle of presence is more than posture or voice, is the aura of inevitability. When you enter a space, the room must adjust itself around you, not you around the room. The weak project presence. The strong radiate inevitability. Machiavelli would describe this as the art of seeming invincible. If others perceive you as immovable, resistance crumbles before it is attempted. Invisible dominance begins with mastery over attention. Eyes follow the one who commands without effort. Minds linger on the one who speaks less, but moves decisively. Speech is economical. Action is precise. Every movement, pause, or glance becomes a vector of influence. The crowd, the team, the adversary, they obey the gravity of your presence, often without understanding why. The inner antagonist, the shadow of doubt. Jung warned of the shadow that lives within. Insecurity disguised as doubt, fear masked as humility. It whispers, "You are not enough." They will see through you. To project invisible dominance, this voice must be acknowledged, then rendered powerless. Every shadow of self-doubt is a lever that can destabilize the perception others have of you. Confront it silently. Transform it into control. Micro-rules for invisible dominance command the field. Always position yourself where influence is maximized at the center, or in places where all eyes inevitably meet you. Minimal speech, maximum impact. Speak only to punctuate a point, not to fill space. Let your words echo longer than your voice. Subtle strategic movements. Adjust a seat, lean slightly, tilt your head. Gesture must convey unspoken authority. The psychology of anticipation when others expect you to act in a predictable manner. Act unpredictably, but always within bounds of control. Your unpredictability is a signal. I am not bound by your expectations. This unsettles rivals and commands respect. Nietzsche understood this principle. The man who casts a shadow beyond his visible form exerts power beyond his immediate reach. Ritual exercise. Enter a social or professional space today with a goal. Influence without confrontation. Avoid speaking immediately. Scan the dynamics. Identify unspoken leaders. Choose one subtle actor. Repositioning. A silent gesture. A gaze held slightly longer than expected. Observe how attention shifts, tension eases, or decisions begin to favor you. This is invisible dominance in practice. Imagery for mind. Picture a dark lake at night. The moon is hidden, but the water moves subtly, inexorably. Fish, wind, leaves, they all adjust to currents unseen. That is how influence spreads when dominance is invisible. No one sees the hand, yet every ripple obeys it. Closing command: do not seek to be seen. Let your influence penetrate unseen, unnoticed, yet unavoidable. Control attention, command perception. And remember, power is often strongest when invisible. Its force measured by the shifts it causes in others, not by its own display. Chapter 3 extends the lessons of silent command into the realm of unseen influence. Respect is now invisible, yet undeniable, bending actions without confrontation. The next chapter will reveal how to convert this silent authority into fearless confidence that enforces compliance naturally. Fear is a tool. Not the fear you feel, but the fear you inspire. History is written by those who do not ask for respect, they demand it, even from enemies who despise them. Sun Tzu cautioned that the appearance of strength often outweighs actual strength. Machiavelli reinforced it. A ruler who cannot evoke fear cannot enforce obedience. This chapter teaches you to project authority that compels, even in the absence of admiration. The anatomy of fearless authority. Fearless authority is not rage or intimidation. It is calm, deliberate, and unwavering. It is the predator's stillness before the strike. People obey those who are anchored, unshaken, and certain. Chaos does not follow you, it bends around you. When society's expectations threaten to define you, this authority creates its own rules. The inner antagonist, the servant of approval, most men bow to the invisible chains of approval. Jung described the persona, the mask worn to gain acceptance. To wield fearless authority, discard the mask. Let the inner servant, the desperate need to be liked, fade into irrelevance. Authority grows not by pleasing, but by standing unflinching in your truth. Micro rules to evoke fearless authority: never flinch. In conversation or confrontation, maintain composure regardless of provocation. Your calmness signals mastery. Define boundaries ruthlessly. Make your limits known subtly but unmistakably. Those who test them learn consequences. Move with decisive intent. Hesitation breeds doubt. Action breeds obedience. Even a slight pause before acting amplifies perceived control. The psychological edge fearful respect is stronger than friendly admiration. Consider Caesar. Men may have mocked him in private, yet in the Senate, his presence silenced the room. People crave certainty from leaders, even reluctant admiration. Nietzsche called this the will to power, the ability to shape perception so others act in alignment with your design. Ritual exercise: identify a situation where you are normally ignored, challenged, or dismissed. Today, assert yourself once, precisely and calmly. Maintain eye contact, speak deliberately, or take a subtle action that shifts the dynamic. Observe reactions. You are practicing authority without aggression, using presence and precision as your weapons. Imagery for mind. Visualize a fortress at dusk. Its walls are black stone. Torches flicker, casting long shadows. No one enters uninvited, and those who try to breach its gates hesitate. The gates are unyielding, but the walls are not violent, they simply exist. That is fearless authority, absolute, impenetrable, and silent in its terror. Closing command: do not seek popularity. Popularity is fleeting. Stand anchored in your own power. Let fear serve as your shield and obedience as your ally. Command without compromise. Rule without apology. Authority is forged in the calm before confrontation, in the unshakable presence that bends others to your will. They may despise you. They may mock you behind closed doors, yet they will obey. This is the apex of power, earning respect even from those who hate you. Sun Tzu wrote that true mastery lies in controlling perception. Machiavelli reminded rulers that fear and respect are stronger than friendship. In this final chapter, you will learn how to secure a legacy of influence that survives contempt, envy, and betrayal. The paradox of respect: respect is not granted, it is extracted. Not from charm, not from smiles, not from polite concessions. It comes from unshakable presence, decisive action, and strategic audacity. People may recoil, but they cannot ignore power that radiates certainty. Like a shadow stretching across a battlefield at dusk, your authority extends far beyond your immediate reach. The inner antagonist, the shadow of weakness. Every man carries a shadow, the part that fears exposure, rejection, and irrelevance. Jung called it the shadow self. To command respect, regardless of likability, you must confront it. Allow it to surface briefly, then reclaim control ruthlessly. Those who sense weakness will exploit it. Those who sense mastery will respect it even begrudgingly. Strategies to command respect: cultivate strategic detachment, withdraw approval and attention from those who seek it. Make your time scarce, your presence meaningful. Exude competence, silently. Speak less, act more. Let results speak louder than words. The wise man judges you by action, the foolish by opinion, but both will respect impact. Leverage envy into obedience. People envy what they cannot easily attain. Subtly showcase strengths, achievements, or connections. Envy becomes a tool of influence, bending rivals to your orbit without confrontation. The ritual of unyielding composure. In moments of insult, threat, or chaos, remain unmoved. Like a lake reflecting the storm above, your calm mirrors power itself. Historical echoes: consider Napoleon. Despised by many, feared by all, respected even by enemies who longed for his downfall. His genius lay in commanding admiration and dread, simultaneously mastering perception as a battlefield. Machiavelli praised the same. Respect born of fear is enduring, admiration optional. Micro-action exercise: identify one group or individual who undermines you or doubts your authority. Tomorrow, engage once in perfectly controlled action. Assert an idea decisively. Deliver a result without fanfare, or maintain composure amid provocation. Observe the subtle shift. Respect will follow, whether they like you or not. Imagery for mind: imagine standing on a cliff at twilight. The wind cuts sharp, the sea churns below. Storm clouds gather, yet you remain still. Lightning flashes illuminate your figure alone, resolute, immovable. Those who watch from below may fear, may resent, but they cannot deny your presence. This is the ultimate respect, unearned by affection, guaranteed by command. Closing command: do not confuse kindness for influence. Do not mistake friendliness for power. True respect emerges when you stand firm, act decisively, and remain unassailable. Let them hate, let them envy, let them talk. Your authority will endure, long after voices have faded. Be the storm they cannot sway, the shadow they cannot step over, the presence they cannot ignore.